Hi, I'm Vanessa Fairfax from Fairfax Saddles Limited. I'm just going to talk you through the Fairfax Performance Bridle that we've spent the last 2.5 years developing and is based on scientific evidence. The most surprising thing about the bridle, the biggest thing that it does is affect the power of the horse's stride. Okay, so this is down to flexion. So flexion in the knee and flexion in the hock. Now, bearing in mind that the hock angle, we're looking for a smaller angle, and scientifically 2 degrees is classed as significant. So if we got 2 degrees improvement, that's fantastic, we can write a paper about it. But we consistently got more than 2 degrees. Now this is the average of 28 horses. So on the left rein here, we're looking at more than 4 degrees, and on the right. 4 degrees is easily viewable with the naked eye, you don't need a camera. But if you look at the horse on the left, look at how far his hind limb is coming underneath him. Look at the V, if you like, between the 2 hind limbs. You've got a broader base on the picture on the right than the left. So this is, sometimes it's easier to see that base than to establish how far the leg is coming under. So we saw this, found the interesting fact obviously about the hock flexion, but then it was mimicked in the knee flexion. But again, we're looking at more than 4 degrees improvement, and this is across 28 horses. So this isn't a freak, this is consistent. And on some horses, we were seeing 8 or 9 degrees. Now, I know a lot of you were thinking, this is all done with professional riders. Obviously, this cuts out a lot of the variables. If you're doing it with a horse that's not on a certain set routine, you've got a lot of things to contend with. So here we are, Samba hit. Nice horse, he's just about to start doing Grand Prix. We'd worked with him for a long time, and here he is at his normal bridle, with the rein gauges on, with them all marked up, trotting down the school. You know, you look at that, so that's not, you know, quite a nice trot. We're not going to fall out about that. But I want you to just look at how high his torso is off the ground. Look at the base of his neck. Just try and remember that picture of how his neck is sitting on the shoulder, and the whole of his top line, and just how far he's reaching out with his forelimb, and how far he's reaching out with his hind limb. So here he is in the performance bridle, and immediately he looks more up in the hand. So if you're looking again at that V base of the triangle, how much more extension we've got in the forelimb, and that's a byproduct of getting more flexion in the knee. How much more his hind limb is coming underneath him. But I think probably one of the most interesting things, and it's probably harder to quantify, is the softness in his top line. And with this bridle, we actually got 6 degrees improvement on his hind limb. When we were looking at the 28 horses, we were looking at a reduction of up to 84%, but for a minimum of 45% on every horse. We didn't have a horse that we didn't get a reduction in pressure. Final point on there, obviously every horse we tested improved its knee and hock flexion, absolutely everyone. Now this brings us on to nosebands. Which noseband do you think creates the most pressure? A regular flash. So here we have Samba, this is his regular work bridle, okay? Our famous flash, which I would say is the go-to bridle of choice for everybody really, because so many bridles just come with a flash. When you've got a regular flash noseband, you've got that whammy of tight fixed ring, so the horse head is coming up and down into the fixed ring, but then you've also got another ring coming down below, which is yanking the front of the noseband down. I would say if I was to pick the singularly most exciting moment of our research, the change in this horse between the flash and the drop was really a jumper over the head moment for the team. You can see that he is just softer altogether. The improvement we've actually got here on him in his knee flexion is 11 degrees, okay? Now that is very extreme, and we got 9 degrees in his hind limb. But more important than that actual flexion, just looking at it as a rider on the ground, it's the softness that I like, that I can see in him there. The drop noseband he's got on there is FEI approved, and what it's got is a second strap at the back. So the second strap here, what this does is it keeps the cheek pieces back away from the eye, because the big problem with your drop noseband is, particularly if it's not fitting properly, is it coming too forward and too close to the eye. and it attaches left and right. So you're never going to have that issue where anything stretches and you end up with a buckle on the lip.